Join us as we unravel 5 maritime mysteries. These tales have haunted sailors and captured imaginations throughout the ages. But before we begin, keep your eyes peeled for a hidden Easter egg in today's video. Comment below where and what it is. Now, let's set sail into these mysteries. 1. The Margaret. The Margaret was a 17th-century English vessel commanded by Sir Humphrey Gilbert, an explorer and privateer. Part of his fleet during an ambitious expedition in 1583, Margaret and her crew aimed to establish a colony in Newfoundland, a bold attempt to expand England's influence in the New World. The voyage, however, was fraught with challenges from the start, including harsh weather, illness, and dwindling supplies. Sadly, Gilbert and most of his fleet never made it back to England. The Margaret barely survived, but her journey remains notable for its role in England's early colonial history. The Margaret was equipped with advanced navigation tools for the time, including an astrolabe and a magnetic compass, reflecting England's early maritime innovation. She carried assorted trade goods like beads, iron tools, and textiles, highlighting efforts to establish positive relations with indigenous tribes. Though a smaller ship in Gilbert's fleet, Margaret proved particularly resilient in navigating rough seas, allowing her to survive when other vessels didn't. Theories. 1. Inexperience and poor leadership. Some historians argue that Sir Humphrey Gilbert's lack of colonial experience and leadership led to disastrous decisions. Gilbert's inexperience may have contributed to misjudgments about Newfoundland's harsh climate and resource scarcity, ultimately compromising the expedition's survival. 2. Structural vulnerability. Another theory posits that Margaret was too small and not structurally suited for extended Atlantic crossings. Unlike larger ships designed for long voyages, Margaret may have struggled to cope with Newfoundland's severe storms, leading to a near-catastrophic journey back. 3. Environmental misjudgments. Certain historians believe the expedition's underestimation of the New World environment played a significant role. With Newfoundland's winters harsher than anticipated, the fleet quickly ran low on provisions and lacked adequate shelter, which may have doomed the colonial venture before it began. 4. Navigation challenges. Another theory points to the limitations of contemporary navigation methods. The English fleet's unfamiliarity with the North American coastline likely resulted in dangerous miscalculations, contributing to the high losses the fleet sustained in their exploratory mission. Legacy. Though the Margaret failed to establish a permanent colony, her journey marked a turning point in English exploration. The challenges faced on her voyage informed future colonial expeditions, helping the British refine their approach to North American settlements. Margaret's story represents the trial-and-error nature of early colonialism and the determination that would later shape England's maritime empire. 2. HMS Invincible. The Invincible, originally a French warship launched in 1744, was captured by the British in 1747. Her design, featuring 74 guns and remarkable agility, was innovative for the time and left a lasting impression on the Royal Navy. Recognizing her superior build, the British integrated her into their fleet, where she became HMS Invincible. She served as a model for British warship design until her tragic wreck on a sandbank near the Solent in 1758. HMS Invincible's design introduced the British Navy to the advantages of a 2-deck 74-gun layout, which soon became the standard for ships of the line. The British meticulously studied her structure post-capture, documenting every detail, making her the basis for British shipbuilding practices for decades. Her wreck preserved thousands of artifacts, including intact cannons, musket balls, and personal items, offering a unique glimpse into 18th-century naval life. Theories. 1. Navigational error. One prevailing theory is that Captain John Bentley misjudged the position of a notorious sandbank in the Solent due to poor visibility or miscalculated tides, resulting in the ship's grounding. This theory suggests that Bentley may have been overconfident in navigating familiar waters. 2. Structural modifications. After her capture, the British modified Invincible to suit their own needs, but some experts suggest that these alterations could have impacted her balance or made her more susceptible to grounding in shallow waters. Some even speculate that these modifications may have slightly altered her weight distribution, making her less stable in the sandbanks. 3. Overloaded armaments and supplies. Invincible was loaded with supplies and armaments for an expedition to North America, adding considerable weight. This theory suggests that the additional weight may have limited her maneuverability, making her more difficult to navigate in shallow coastal waters and increasing the risk of grounding. 4. Misleading coastal features. The Solent's shifting sandbanks were not well charted in the 18th century. Some suggest that local currents and silty water may have disguised the danger zone, even to seasoned navigators. This natural camouflage of sandbanks could have contributed to Invincible's unexpected grounding. Legacy. The Invincible influenced British naval architecture profoundly, setting the standard for 74 gunships that would dominate British fleets. Her unfortunate grounding led to better navigational practices and contributed to a deeper understanding of the Solent's unique sandbanks, prompting improvements in coastal mapping. 3. The Clarence. The Clarence, a 19th-century British merchant vessel, primarily transported goods along British colonial trade routes. Known for her reliability, she was used to transport both cargo and passengers between England and various colonial ports. However, her mysterious sinking in the English Channel has long puzzled maritime historians, as she went down unexpectedly on a calm day. The Clarence was carrying a particularly valuable cargo of ivory, tea, and silk during her final voyage, which raised suspicions of foul play after her loss. Despite her size, the Clarence was fitted with unusually powerful bilge pumps, hinting that her owners may have been concerned about leaks or stability issues. Following her disappearance, fragments believed to be from her hull were found scattered along the channel, but the wreck itself was never located. Theories. 1. Structural instability due to cargo overload. Some historians believe the Clarence may have been overloaded with heavy, unbalanced cargo, which could have destabilized her in even mild seas. Theories suggest that her valuable cargo was packed too densely, affecting the ship's center of gravity. 2. Sabotage or piracy. Because the Clarence was carrying a valuable cargo, some speculate that pirates or competitors may have sabotaged her. With reports of piracy in the Channel, it's suggested that an act of sabotage could have led to her sinking, especially if valuables were the main target. 3. Hidden design flaws. Another theory points to hidden flaws in the Clarence's hull, possibly exacerbated by previous damage. Some believe that weaknesses in the hull could have caused a catastrophic failure even in mild weather conditions. 4. Accidental scuttling. There is a theory that, due to financial troubles, her owners may have attempted insurance fraud, ordering the crew to scuttle the Clarence. This would explain the calm conditions surrounding her disappearance. Legacy. The loss of the Clarence remains one of the English Channel's enduring mysteries, highlighting the challenges of maritime insurance and trade security in the 19th century. Theories about her sinking continue to spark debate and symbolize the high stakes of colonial-era trade. 4. The Resolute. The Resolute was initially an Arctic exploration vessel launched by the British in 1850. She was part of an expedition to locate the missing Franklin expedition, but was herself trapped in ice and abandoned in 1854. Remarkably, the Resolute was discovered drifting off the coast of Newfoundland 2 years later by an American whaling ship. The US returned her to Britain, and she became a symbol of friendship between the two nations. Upon her return, Queen Victoria presented the Resolute to President James Buchanan, who later had her timbers made into a desk, now famous as the Resolute desk, in the White House. The Resolute was outfitted with reinforced hulls specifically designed for Arctic conditions, showcasing British innovations in polar exploration. Her unexpected return was considered a near-miraculous survival story, given the brutal Arctic conditions. Theories. 1. Natural ice drift. One theory holds that the Arctic currents and natural ice melt simply freed the Resolute, allowing her to drift thousands of miles to Newfoundland. This would suggest she was carried by chance along just the right route to remain afloat. 2. Hidden crew or survivors. Some suggest that a group of surviving crew members from other lost expeditions may have briefly boarded the Resolute, keeping her in passable condition until they abandoned her again. 3. Rescue sabotage. Another theory postulates that a rival expedition may have cut her loose intentionally after salvaging supplies, leaving her to drift and be discovered far from where she was last abandoned. 4. Navigational experimentation. Some historians speculate that her deliberate abandonment was an experiment to test Arctic currents, though there is little evidence to support this beyond speculation. Legacy. The Resolute became a historic artifact of US-British diplomacy, symbolizing friendship and cooperation. The desk made from her timbers remains in the Oval Office, serving as a powerful reminder of shared history between the nations. 5. SS Alkimos. The SS Alkimos was a Liberty ship built during World War II in 1943 by the U.S. Maritime Commission. Originally named George M. Shriver, the ship was leased to the Norwegian shipping line and renamed Viggo Hanstein, carrying supplies across dangerous Atlantic routes. In 1947, she was sold and eventually renamed SS Alkimos, under which she operated as a merchant ship. In 1963, the Alkimos struck a reef off the coast of Western Australia. Efforts to tow her to port repeatedly failed, and she was eventually abandoned near Perth, where her remains sit to this day. The Alkimos was built in just 10 days, a common feat for Liberty ships during the war due to the urgency of Allied supply needs. While she served in wartime, several crew members reported mysterious technical issues and strange occurrences aboard, even during construction. After being abandoned on the Australian coast, numerous salvage attempts were thwarted by unusual circumstances, including mysterious injuries and equipment failures. Theories. 1. Structural instability and war damage. Some experts argue that the ship's unusual construction timeline may have left her with structural issues, especially after years of service in wartime. The damage from numerous wartime incidents may have weakened her, contributing to repeated breakdowns and issues during salvage attempts. 2. Misfortune due to rapid construction standards. The ship's rushed 10-day construction may have introduced small, undetectable structural faults. Many Liberty ships built under similar conditions were known to experience issues, leading to speculation that Alkimos was simply another casualty of the hurried wartime shipbuilding process. 3. Psychological impact on the crew. The high-stress environment of wartime shipping and frequent technical problems could have contributed to heightened anxiety and paranoia among her crew, amplifying perceptions of ill fortune. 4. Environmental factors and coastal tides. The Western Australian coast is known for challenging tides and strong currents, which could have complicated salvage operations. The natural conditions around her location might account for failed towing attempts and logistical challenges in recovery. Legacy. The SS Alkimos remains an iconic part of Western Australian coastal folklore, known for her turbulent history and the failed attempts to remove her wreck. Her remains attract divers and history enthusiasts alike, serving as a unique reminder of wartime construction and the difficulties faced by Liberty ships during and after the war. Conclusion. Throughout history, these ships have captured our imagination, leaving legacies shaped by courage, adversity, and mystery. From ambitious explorations to wartime perseverance, each vessel has faced extraordinary challenges, carving its place in maritime lore. As we've journeyed through the stories of the Margaret, HMS Invincible, Clarence, Resolute, and SS Alkimos, we see how their fates, marked by ingenuity and resilience, continue to impact our understanding of the seas. Their mysteries remind us that the ocean, while explored, still holds secrets that defy explanation. Thank you for joining us on this exploration. If you enjoyed unraveling these mysteries with us, please like and subscribe to support our channel and keep up with our latest stories. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and remember, there's always more to uncover beneath the waves.